Hey everyone, Brad the Mechanic here. Today we're working on a 2014 Ford Focus. Customer complaint has coolant dripping. It's coming from right down there. And that's usually conducive at the water pump. I went and checked the water pump and it looks like it is leaking out of the weep hole. So we're going to change that. The first thing I'm going to do is lift up the vehicle a little bit and drain the coolant out of there. And then we'll get up on top there and get the belt and stuff removed. And if you look right here, there is a knob that you twist to make this drain. You can see it drains out of there, but what happened to me is I just went to twist this and it busted. The dang thing just broke right off by my hands. So we're gonna just have to, you can either let this radiator hose open this up or just put a drain bucket under it, and when you take the water pump off, all the coolant will drain out. It'll just make more of a mess, but usually you can do this, open it up and it'll drain out into a drain bucket, but that's not happening today. Damn it. So now back at the top of the engine, I'm gonna start by taking this off, getting it out of the way. I'm not going to take this hose off. I am just going to move it over here. They can move without having to take any of these off. If you wanted to take these off, you kind of push this clip down here. You got to pinch them, and these can come off. It's kind of hard right now, but we're going to get this off. There's a little tab here. You got to kind of mess with a little bit to get out, and then it'll come right out and you can get this out of the way. Alright, so once you get that out of the way, you can see you have a little bit more room down here to get to everything. So before I start taking all this off, I'm going to take the motor mount off. So that means we're going to put the jack underneath it, put a piece of wood on the engine block underneath, and we'll hold this engine right here so we can take these off. I just have it down there, just barely pushing up on it, just to hold a little bit of the weight. We got 18s right there, and 16s right there. We're gonna zip them out. So we got those out. Pull this up, out of the way, and as you can see, much more room to get down there. So there might be a little clearance issue here, so we'll either move the engine up or down, whatever way we can to get these out. But right now, since the tensioner is right here, we're going to get, looks like a, I don't know what that is, maybe a 14 or 15 on there, and we're going to detension the belt, get it off, and start working on the water pump bolts. But what I might do is try to bust those loose while the belt's still on, because that's going to spin. So sometimes I'll take that and tension it tighter while I'm trying to break those free, and it'll help you. If not, you're going to put a flathead screwdriver in between two of the bolts and loosen it, and you can hold it with the screwdriver. You can kind of just put it through like that, and you can hold it. So I'll try to get those busted free. So it's hard to show you one-handed, but I hold the ratchet right here and I pull up this way, and you can see it tightens the belt. So while I'm doing that, while I'm tightening that, I come down with my wrench and I loosen them. I already got that one loose. So do that to all three. Now that we got those off, we can loosen this and get the belt off. Now I'm gonna take these out by hand as much as I can. And then we'll get this pulley off if we can, if we have enough room. If not, we'll move the engine down. Alright, in order to get this off, I jacked the engine up a good ways. I kept jacking it up until I had enough room right there. So now we're going to get the couple 8 mils, I think there's 4. We're going to get those off and pull that water pump off. But remember, put your drain pan under there because it's going to leak coolant if you couldn't leak it out, if you couldn't drain it out from the radiator. For this third bolt down here, I used a little 1/4 inch ratchet to get to it. This is going to make your life a lot easier. Or if you have to use a wrench. So once you get all the bolts off, you can kind of find a good spot and kind of try to wedge it off a little bit. Make sure, obviously, you have all the bolts off. And you're going to come in and try to find a good little spot, and you'll wedge it, and it'll come right off. So it's kind of tough coming out there because there's a big O-ring that goes around. You kind of got to pop it out. So once you do that, it'll start leaking if you didn't drain anything out, and you can just let it go down to your bucket, wait a minute, and then pull that sucker all the way off. And if you look right here on the water pump, you can see right there where it was leaking coolant out of the weep hole. It was coming right out of there, that little tiny hole right there. Right there, it was leaking coolant out. That's how you know that the water pump's bad. Alright, so now we're going to clean this area up very well, and then we're going to get the new water pump and throw it on there. We'll take this and... Great. So we got the new pump here, and what I do before I put it on is set it down, and I have here a little bit of engine oil, and I just put it on this gasket, and it's going to make it go in a lot easier when you're putting it in. So let's do that, and then let's toss this bad boy in. So when you're throwing it on, what I did is I just twisted a little bit back and forth, and then went right in. Then we're going to tighten these bolts down. And these new bolts that come with it are actually 10 millimeters. Alright, after getting those torqued down, I'm going to go ahead and put the pulley back on there. And it was kind of hard to go on, or I had to finagle it a little bit to get it to go on. So you'll find a way just to get it on there kind of from the side, and it'll go in there just fine. There you go, just like that, boom. And then we can take these little bolts that we had, and we'll put them back in the pulley. Then once you get the belt on, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to tighten this and tighten those pulley bolts just a little bit more. Then once you get the belt on and those tight, we're going to take the motor mount, put this back on, like so. Get it in there, just like that. And then we're going to lower the engine down and it'll line those bolts back up. And remember to get the back and this piece lined up, and then you push it in, and it'll clip in back there and up here. Make sure all your hoses are good and ran and the same and where they're supposed to go. See how like this kind of came out. So I'm going to put that back in there. And then now we're going to add coolant and start it and make sure there's no leaks. No leaks. That's from me spilling it. So she's up to temperature. The heat is hot inside there, so I know it's flowing well. So it looks like you're good to go. So thank you for watching. You don't have to like or subscribe. I just want you to fix your shit, so go out there and fix it. Alright? See ya.